Okay, before this video starts, make sure you subscribe so you can see the game called Mario Odyssey be played. Once we reach 500 subscribers, we'll be playing the game called Mario Odyssey, and once we do that, that will officially happen. But today we're going over a certain Sonic game. What Sonic game? There's so many of the Sonic games ever released. There's so many Sonic games that came out over the years. No, we'll be going over Sonic the Hedgehog, the game that came out in 2006. No other Sonic game. This is quite possibly one of the worst games I've ever played. It's probably up there with the awfulness of Dragon Ball, Z Sagas, and several other games like Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, and we'll be going over the awful story of Dragon Ball. No, not Dragon Ball. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 game, because the storyline just makes me want to die and jump off a cliff. And basically, the game, but let's go first over the gameplay. The gameplay is a glitzy, awful game. If it wasn't for all the glitches, the gameplay would be good, but the gameplay is just completely garbage. So there's loading times that will go absolutely nothing, kills that just spout other nonsense, or spout cryptic messages that nobody wants to hear. But today we're going over the actual story of Sonic the Hedgehog 06 or 2006 or Sonic 06, whatever you want to call it. Sonic 06 is basically a game that was supposed to celebrate Sonic's 50th anniversary. Quite possibly the worst 50th anniversary since we got this piece of garbage, and this was made by Sonic Team. Yeah, people who made the original Sonic games. This game makes me feel confined to even hear this game altogether. It was, of course, obviously worst for the holidays, but basically, city of this unknown city. The city is being ruled by a princess, who is the keeper of a dark secret, the fires, which involves chaos symbols for some reason. Because of course, we had to tie in the chaos symbols to something stupid like this. But whatever. The Chaos Emeralds are supposed to be a mythical thing in Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, so Sonic could turn to Super Sonic. But now the Chaos Emeralds are basically just there. The game opens with citizens celebrating the fire. While in fire, a stupid woman is having hallucinations of fire being on fire, the city being on fire, and of course, demonic creature attacking it. And as fireworks are launched, missiles hit her. Eggman arrives with robots looking like someone from like the Back from the Future, not like actual Eggman himself. Because they try to make this game look realistic. He has his intention to kidnap Elise in order to keep the secrets of the flames of disaster, who of course is unwilling to comply because of reasons. At that moment, a circle of blue wind appears around them, and Sonic attacks Eggman, who escapes as the princess, and Eggman fires at Sonic for some reason because he hates Sonic from all the other Sonic games that happened. As Sonic escapes, it's later scenes from the site of a white-furred hedgehog crossover, who speak of locating the Ibis figure, which we don't know, which that might be something interesting later. While running through a city, a confused Elise asks Sonic why is he helping her, but of course Sonic says, "Oh, I'm just being the helpy guy because I want to." Soon afterward, Eggman attacks her again, and Eggman captures her anyways. While Sonic is distracted by them, Eggman returns to the egg carrier, where Elise throws Sonic a Chaos Emerald, while he catches in his soul so that he will rescue her. Because now Sonic's basically just trying to copy off of Mario. Because of course, Mario's story is something to be copied off of, the same generic Save the Princess story every single time. Unconcerned, Eggman just simply lets Sonic to hold on to his emerald for his time being. Why can't he just attack him and take the emerald and just win? Isn't it that hard, Eggman, to attack him? Send more robots at him and just take the emerald? The next morning, attempting to get information about Eggman, Sonic runs into Tails' weapon, apparently helping to clean up the city after Eggman's attack. Tails reveals he knows what that Sonic has attempted to save her and offers to help however he ran because Tails is nice. Well, he doesn't know what Eggman is up to at this time. He knows, oh, it's Eggman, it's not good, because Eggman can't do anything right, probably, because Eggman is evil, and Eggman's not supposed to be doing anything right. There's going over the Sonic part of the story. Sonic and Tails chase Eggman to Wave Beats. Well, they're unable to catch up to it before escapes. Defeated for now, Sonic and Tails decide to return to city, and they ask a bunch of people and stuff as well. Sonic and Tails make way to the desert where Eggman has been seen, and he has been ran right into the room we have been keeping her. At this moment, who was glad to see them, but at least Sonic. At the moment, Eggman arrives and attacks Sonic. He sort of done that the first time, but whatever. Afterwards, Eggman sends a massive amount of robots after them, and Tails, of course, distracts all the robots, and Sonic and Luis escape. Eggman, you had one job to keep track of the woman, but you can't because you're dumb. You're supposed to have an IQ of 300. 300! Why don't you use that for good use? But this is the poor writing of Sonic 06 to everybody. Poor writing. After escaping the desert and entering the plains, Sonic comes to Sonic and Elise thanks Sonic for herself. They notices a wound of it on his arm. Despite Sonic's insistence, he says, "Oh, I'm fine." Elise, of course, bandages his arm with a handkerchief, blaming herself for Sonic getting hurt. Elise apologizes for Sonic just immediately tells her to smile because, of course, happiness and friendship what keeps everything going, right? Why can't we have the simplicity of the first Sonic games? Like, why do we have to have these overly complicated stories that just don't make anything? This sort of just kept everything simple and just stuck to just Sonic, Eggman, Tails. We don't need all these extra side characters and all this stuff. Maybe with the exception of Shadow because he's cool, but we don't need all. Nobody. Elise has never been seen again. Elise tells Sonic about fire and stuff, and so else is gonna destroy the Earth, and now they have fully faced the full force of his anger 10 years ago as he lost a father to the Sun God, and fears that would happen if Eggman does it again, makes history repeat itself. Without warning, Sonic grabs Elise by her hand and runs through the plains of her. Afterwards, Elise lightens up and gives Sonic some of the useful advice. They go back to the city, and Sonic and Silver attacks one of the worst fights in history, as he can really put you into a stand state where he can never die. Worst fight in the series. Who claims that Sonic's actions will condemn the world, and they battle because Silver does not know anything about this game whatsoever. And it's said that Silver was introduced in this piece of garbage of a game. Sonic initially had the upper hand, but Silver, of course, beats him with a telekinesis and hurting him for good, incapacitating Sonic for good. Sonic demands to know how someone as weak as Sonic could destroy the world. Sonic asks what he means. He says, "Oh, as long as the Ibis trigger is destroyed." However, Eggman capitalizes on Sonic's distracted and kidnaps Elise again. Sonic attempts to one after them, but Silver isn't allowed to run him off. Silver, of course, knocks him into a building and is allowed to deliver the coup de grace when Amy suddenly steps in. Silver somehow knows Amy and orders her to move, but she doesn't want to let him hurt Sonic anymore. Sonic takes the opportunity thinking Amy and goes after Eggman. After a brief encounter with the soldiers, Sonic, who accepts Sonic's help, and despite inexorable reluctance, Sonic enters the warehouse of New City and meets up with Tails and Knuckles, who later of whom gives him a holographic message that was seen, "Oh, Eggman negotiates a deal if Sonic comes to White Acropolis and gives Eggman the Chaos Emerald. At least doesn't give him anymore. Then Eggman will release it go without a fight." Through Tails and Knuckles are both positive that Eggman sang of his wrath. Sonic decides to go anyways because he's stupid in this game. That's this game alone, not any other game. Probably except for another Sonic game. Trying to thank Eggman for telling him what the goal is. Because of course this game has to be a bestiality or something like that. The good guys fight the people, Eggman soldiers. Sonic puts the Chaos Emerald on the forward battle, so unsurprisingly Eggman double crosses the field and activates the force field trapping Team Sonic within. At that moment, Eggman activates the Walrus and Sonic and Co. fans in the finale because plot. Because it has to be a very dire plot. And they immediately fast Eggman assures that Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are still alive for now, but have been transported into another time period. Eggman does not know where they have ended up, but needs the power that Elise apparently possesses because, of course, he's important. Also, when Chaos Emeralds to find truth was seen, but you basically teleport her to the dimension, Eggman. How stupid could you be? Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles somehow can encounter Shadow and Rogue, who are trapped in this future. In order for them to return to the present, they must create a rift in time and space, which the figure creative Sonic and Shadow use the Chaos Control together. While they're searching for the Chaos Emeralds again. They encountered Silver and his friend Blaze and Mephros, a dark being who resembles Shadow and tells Silver Sonic is the one responsible for the future's devastation. Because, of course, Sonic is the bad one and takes him taking back his time to kill Sonic. Sonic learns from a computer file that Elise was killed when Eggman's battleship exploded 2 days after the fast-forward sun. After receiving a power of Chaos Emerald, Sonic and Shadow create time version around to go back. Sonic returns to Elise, but once again is attacked by Silver because Silver does not know Sonic's a good guy because he's stupid. And Eggman kidnaps Elise again. Unfortunately, Shadow arrives to confront Silver, allowing Sonic to rescue her again. Because, of course, this is like the 6th or 7th time she has been rescued in the story. This game just pisses people off. He returns to Solina and Eggman arrives with his battleship to destroy the city. The city's now gone. William surrenders himself to him and to protect the people. Eggman explains to Elise in order for his plan to work, take over the world to his work, he must acquire 7 Chaos Emeralds with the dormant power of the flames of disaster for Elise to awaken Solaris curse, allowing him to harness the Sun God's power over time. On his way to rescue Sonic encounters one and instead of attacking him, expresses his concern for Elise as well, finally Sylvia doing something that is not attacking Sonic. The two hedgehogs team up, but before they reach the battleship, it malfunctions, crashes and explodes, and thus Sonic, fear the battle back in the future. However, Sonic and Silver realize that they can use Chaos Control to travel back in time to the previous day before Eggman's battleship launched. Sonic travels past to alone, realizes that we reach the fiend Eggman who battles Sonic and the Egg Muffin for the last time. Sonic escapes his battleship and with Elise and makes it back to the ground. Then we have another storyline. Yay, we have no more storylines to go over. We have a Silver Armor episode and a Shadow episode to go over, so yay. More of the awful game of Sonic 06 will be going over. And the events after Sonic Shadow the Hedgehog, which is also another really bad game. Shadow appears to have joined Gun. His story among the rescue mission of Rogue the Bat have essentially received the script of darkness from Eggman's base, while Acapulus, who had never been heard to hell, invades the base to find Rogue in the midst of accomplishing a mission. They escape to the site that was formerly the castle of Soronia's kings. And of course, Eggman attacks them because he's Eggman, he's evil. The realistic King Eggman attempts to receive the stolen property. Eggman's robots swoop down to attack in the heat of battle. The script of darkness is completely shattered, and that's how Mephries is freed, who basically kills Sonic later on. We're resurrected in the likeness of Shadow through a state. Mephros introduces himself as past history is too sailed. Using a time warp similar to Chaos Control, Shadow and Rogue find a future and break of collapse. When they arrive, they're first perplexed, but before long, they find the suburban answers. They find Omega not active for hundreds of years for unknown reasons. They discover the distant future is destroyed by Ibis. Shadow and Rogue meet up with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, who are sent to the future by Eggman's latest machine. Sonic and Shadow must conclude that they must use Chaos Control to get home. As they set out to go get the Chaos Emeralds after a conversation with Ibis, they succeed and find Chaos Emeralds and time up away from Ibis. Sonic and company go back to time, except for Shadow, who stayed to confront Mephries. Upon we catch up to Mephries, he reveals that Shadow is looking that humans looking now. Someone to blame the reduction of El Shadow and responsible for the cat's atrocity. Shadow is hunted down, defeated, and trapped behind the edge of Teos. Mephries tempts Shadow to join him in the game's vengeance about humans, but Shadow refuses because he's a good guy now. He's not evil anymore. Yay! At that point, Mephries is transformed into his second form, a more crystalline monster, and enters battle. Rogue gets presence, realizes Shadow is a role in playing Mephries, and without Chaos Emeralds, he searches for Omega and gives us a Chaos Emerald that tells him to sit and wait in standby mode until distant future becomes the present. Shadow, and to assist Shadow, find Mephries. Mephries is rescued by Omega, who helps him give us the Chaos Emerald. And Cell is Cell fights Bephui is defeated. Bephui is frees to the present to time warp into pursue time warp into the present because Omega and of course Omega pursues Bephui's. I realize this is not even the full Cell story, but still only like halfway through it. And it's still better than the Sonic story was just saving Elise over and over and over again, but it's the same old, same old. And this infuses Bephui's Mr. Settle number 2. And basically informed Eggman is searching for new him, and Saddle concludes that Eggman is searching for Crystal Saddle, and gives an interview to Doctor upon Wookiee in Eggman's base. Because Eggman's always the one who does those bad stuff, no one else. To him to understand why he wants Bephui's, Cell must know that it's in about 10 years ago the Solaris project, because of course there's other people who to blame, not Eggman. Eggman just wants to do it because he just has this, he just wants to rule the world for himself. Cell then leaves only to find Sonic, who is attacked by Silver and Sonic. Cell accused Sonic and who runs away with Princess Elise. And Cell engages with a fight with Silver, and Cell was able to overcome him by freezing time, so Silver cannot defend himself because Silver is so stupid that he loses every single time. Silver also introduces the Chaos Control to Cell's shock. Cell tells Silver that in order to understand more about Bephui's and Ebius, they must use the warp to witness the accident themselves. So the two of them using emeralds to open a time warp 10 years ago, the Soros Project, and they witness the failure of Hand and watch Ibis and the original Bephui's dark puddle emerge from Silver's eyes for Bephui's dissections, and there's still like 2 more paragraphs to go. And there's also the Silver storyline. Yay. This, like, I don't even care about this plot whatsoever. This plot is just dumb. It says, oh, bad things happened in past, so Bephuis is now born. He's a settle of Ibis. Cell finds out why Bephuis owns him, and Cell has sealed him in the Scepter of Darkness for the first place. The demon sealed Cell frees the Spectre in the past, where he knew it would end up in the present someday. Both of them return and rushes down to find Rogue to tell what happened to Bephuis. Cell finds Rogue and tells her about the Scepter of Darkness Bephuis seal, because they want to release him so he can create another one. Also, Omega has found Bephuis on the beast and defeats him once again. Because if Bephuis was this strong, he would be defeated by a robot twice. Yes, I'm not making this up. This is a little Sonic game. Elsewhere, Omega has found Bephuis once again on the beast, and of course he defeats him. And she is built to defeat Cell later on. Omega refuses to acknowledge the truth at first, after Bephuis escapes again. Cell and Rube found out to save Cell in the future. Cell, Omega, and Rube chase Bephuis into the desert temple in the Scepter of Darkness. When Bephuis always found the Chaos Emerald, and after Cell gains victory, Bephuis reverts back to his original form and a puddle and goes away, never to be seen again, as we so thought. Cell attempts to seal him in the Scepter of Darkness, but Cell and Bephuis as well to free himself. Bephuis reveals that he woke 10 years ago and ruined the Cell using Cell's form. Bephuis uses his powers to summon a giant clone out of himself and attempts again to trick Cell by convincing him that he's a fool for continuing the project. Who those eventually seal him. In response, Cell replies, "If the world becomes the fight like I always have because I'm good now." And Cell moves his gold wing from the universe of energy and defeats all the Bephuis, the clones, and his allies. And into the side story as a cliffhanger, now we have the Silver episode, and that's literally the same amount of length. And we have the last episode, which is the ending, so we have to go for 2 more parts of Sonic 06. Yay, this is going to be the longest video I've uploaded yet, because Sonic 06 really needs to be ripped apart. And I'll make another video. Silver lives approximately 200 years in the future, so he's kind of ripping off Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, who has telekinesis power in common with the future. Silver's world is completely destroyed by the flames of disaster brought by Silver and his partner and best friend, Blade the Cat, because Blade the Cat is in this movie as well. And they know, oh, Ibis bad, he's bad, and Bephuis suddenly appears along the way and informs Silver out of time, and he's unreasoned to the world, tells him that the main cause because they must breed the stupid looking Shadow Clone because he's dumb. And Silver is so gullible he falls for this, and that's why he's trying to kill Sonic all the time. Bephuis sends himself along with Silver and Blades to the time and point where the Ibis figure was alive, and it prevents Sonic from destroying the pizza. Because apparently Sonic is a bad guy and he's the most evil character in all of history. Because Sonic is apparently where do we hit wall, and Sonic is where do we hit wall, and he must be stopped because Sonic is basically the worst being in all of existence. Let's move on. Let's go back to the Silver episode, and now we find out why Sonic and Silver hate each other. And basically, Mephwurst sends himself back in time along with Silver and Blaze at the point where the Ibis was alive to prevent Sonic from destroying the future, even though it's Eggman the whole time. But Silver is so stupid he doesn't realize that. Upon reaching the present day, Silver realizes he got separated from Mephwurst and Blaze, and elsewhere Blaze makes the same realization. When Silver first had the sight set on the Ibis figure, he is interrupted by Amy, who mistakes him for Sonic. Amy quickly develops a friendship with Silver, and now we know why they're friends. As he promises to help him find what he is looking for, and not realizing his plan is finding killing Sonic, after locating Sonic in the city, Silver engages him in combat, and Sonic is about to be killed by Silver, but he's saved by Amy Rose. Because of course it's convenient for Sonic to be saved by Amy Rose. It's so convenient. So Sonic runs up to find Elise, who was kidnapped by Eggman during the battle. Amy gets upset that Silver would suggest that Sonic would destroy the world and fuse it because of course he was brainwashed by stupid Mephies. And quickly leaves Silver. Both confused and puzzled when Blaze finds him. Silver questions whether or not he should kill Sonic. Just for the sake of saving the future and find more answers. Silver and Blaze journey to Eggman's base after resolving that he should kill Sonic. Silver finds Mephies and tells him Sonic is at the terminal station. Silver heads down and fights Sonic again. Only to have Saddle to save Sonic just as Silver is about to finish him off. Silver mistakes Saddle for Mephies and Saddle corrects him. Because Mephies is the most smartest being in all of Sonic history. We haven't had another edgy Sonic. Oh, they already made another character just like Mephies and Saddle. We always have these really bad edgy Sonic villains that look cool and sound cool, but they're not really cool at all. Mephies is one of these really bad characters that nobody likes. Who tells him that Sonic is at the terminal station. Oh, and they fight Sonic again. Oh, yay! Saddle saves Sonic because he's good now. And Silver mistakes Saddle for Mephies, and Saddle corrects him. And the two battled out and introduced a Chaos Control. Two Chaos symbols in the possession. They teleport past 10 years ago. And found out went wrong. Silver and Saddle arrive at the perfect moment. During the explosion that releases Mephies and Ibis in the first place. Ultimately, the cause of the Duke of Sorona's death. Saddle seals the original Mephies in the Spectre of Darkness, and Silver warns that to defeat Ibis, they must seal him inside someone else's soul, making that person the sort of vessel. Silver warns more Mephies' intentions and discerns that he lied to him about Sonic being the Ibis trigger. Upon returning to the present, he meets up with Blaze and Saddle, finding that his change of heart resolved. Oh, we must help Sonic now because Saddle's now good and Saddle's now helping, and he's a good guy, even though in Sonic Adventure 2 he's bad and Sonic the Hedgehog, he's shooting people. But in this game, he's ultimately now a good guy because we need it because the plot demands it. Unfortunately, Sonic, Silver, and Blaze arrive at forced too late, and they watch the egg carry the story causing the death of Elise and possibly Eggman as well. Well, it's good because no one likes Elise anyways. It's considered one of the worst characters in Sonic history, and no one even likes her anyways. But it is such a depressing thing anyways. Silver didn't tell Sonic that he wanted to use Chaos Control to save Sonic and save Elise, because reason Sonic rushes into the past to save Elise and gives Silver a Chaos Symbol to return him to the future. As the journey back to the future resolved to finally defeat Ibis. Silver and Blaze fight Ibis and successfully defeat him. Silver tried to seal him though, but he's on a vessel, and by using himself as a vessel. Silver was unable to use himself because he's the ultimate sacrifice. Blaze uses herself as a vessel, sealing both herself and the Ibis into another dimension. To save Silver in her world, it's still over the watch of a good friend. Silver becomes upset and also what he had done worth what he had paid in the end. White returns to Silver world and the game ends with him growling at the Chaos Emerald with Blaze sealed up for Ibis. So now we're at the last episode. Yes, the last episode. We're almost done. We have another 3 more lines to read. So basically, Mephies is spoiling evil worker as he managed to put world's Ibis with destroy the world using the purple emerald. Mephies binds Sonic and Elise. We're continuing to slow down the storyline, Sonic's storyline left off, and of course, Mephros kills Sonic, and here's the worst scene in all of Sonic history. Elise attempts to revive Sonic, but discovering he is indeed dead, he cries, because of course Sonic is the only hope of the universe, and he must be somehow come back alive through Deus Ex Machina or something like that. And Elise is just really a plot device. At this point, Mephros absorbs Ibis and mutates into a monster known as Solaris, and then creates his own world in the story time itself. Continuing from where Rosal's story ended, he is in his head to recover from battles with Mephros clones, and he rolls the green, yellow emeralds of Mephros violence behind. He's created Brian Fast and that sent Logan Omega to the same type with formed by Solaris while in Solana. Amy, Tails, and Knuckles notice a bright light that engulfs Sadie when the light fades. They have been transferred to list the previous levels of the game exist. Because we must all go into the previous levels, because it must be some stuff that must happen. Amy is the first to spot Silver, who's been teleported here as well. Chaos Emeralds that Blaze sealed Ibis and Fenhall. Everyone notices that they have all been brought to the stage place, even Dr. Eggman, who, as they try to understand what's happening, Eggman reveals that Ibis seals have been broken. Yes, and it has been their turn to save Elise, and craving Sonic's body and his armor on her arms. After a few realizing, Eggman reveals that Solus is about to bring the end of time because Eggman deserves the entire plan to begin with. So, and transcendental life form, it cannot be defeated in prison as it exists in all timelines. Because it has omnipresence, because I said as Eggman. But and will do nothing but Solo refuses to give up, and they team up to destroy Solaris in the past, and yes, this is a Sonic plot. Oh, now it's Solaris exists in every timeline, so let's go try to destroy him before he even exists. Yeah, we haven't seen that before. We haven't seen that plot line before. We haven't seen that storyline before. Because this is a Sonic game. This is supposed to be a Sonic game. This is not Final Fantasy. This is a freaking Sonic game. What were they thinking when they came up with this story? But we're still not done yet. Yay, we're still not done. And Solo refuses to give up because he wants to beat him. Saddle quickly shoots Part 3 down with Sonic dead. The Source cannot lose because we need Sonic because he's the hope of the universe. With Amy upset because Sonic is dead. He said, I can bring Sonic back to life and explain that he can use the Chaos Emeralds. This is the worst scene in Sonic history. After Wayne Free shows the power of all the guys find the Chaos Emeralds to revive Sonic. And oh no, the worst scene happens in Sonic history. Elise kisses Sonic. This makes me want to puke already. This is freaking bestiality in a freaking video game, okay? This is the worst scene in all of Sonic history. Now done. And they all go to Super State to go fight Solaris. They manage to destroy Solaris' constant, losing control of his body. Solaris' body diverges in the stream of energy, reverted back to the original tiny flame. Sonic, now back to his normal, travels to reach to the point of the past where to find the flame of hope and its birth. Elise realizes that she puts out the flames, Solaris will never exist. And she realizes that Sonic will never meet her, so this game will never happen in the first place. Which is good because this part of the game is absolutely meaningless. That means all this will be pointless because this means stuff will never happen. Elise begins to cry and shout that she does not care what happens as long as Sonic and friends. Sonic is clearly unhappy about this, and he tells Amy he's about to smile. Elise is about to smile and manages to convince her about her abandoning the meeting. She confidently puts out the flames, ending Solaris from all existence once and for all. Well, almost done with Sonic 06 stories. Time reboots and Eggman does not attack this time, and the festival sun goes out. Exactly what happens in Sonic, and everyone else's lives go happy ever after. Done. Sonic 06 has one of the worst stories in Sonic history. We have the worst characters like Elise. We have realistic looking Eggman. And this is all Eggman, and this is all, bad guy destroys Earth, bad guy will destroy planet, bad guy will end time. This guy will release bad guy who will end time. This is really the entire story of Sonic 06. And basically I spoiled the plot, so you don't have to play through Sonic 06 itself. So I basically did you guys a favor. Sonic 06 is easily the worst Sonic game ever made. And I don't have to go, and that's just not even touching the gameplay and everything else. The gameplay is garbage because it has all these glitches, the loading times and all that. I haven't even touched that, okay? I touched that in the beginning because I didn't want to have to deal with all this. Sonic 06 easily has the worst storyline and worst plot line in all of Sonic history. It is the first video I have made that's over 30 minutes long, because Sonic 06 had such a bad plot and I had to go through in depth over the plot of Sonic 06. And Sonic 06 storyline is just awful. It's just easily one of the worst Sonic games in history. The only good part about Sonic 06 is the soundtrack, and that's just saying it. Sonic 06 can go screw itself. It's quite easily the worst Sonic game ever made. It's even worse than Sonic Labyrinth, and dare I say Sonic Boom Rise of well, because we'll be going over that game next. Yay, another bad Sonic game, Sonic Boom Rise of well, easily one of the second worst Sonic game of all time. At least Sonic Boom Rise of well does not have bestiality and has an overly complicated plot that no one will understand besides die-hard Sonic fans. And this is also the debut for Silver. Yes, Silver was introduced in this game and has been the only good character that has been introduced in other games since then, because people actually like Silver, unlike Elise. And Elise has never been seen again, which is good, thank God, because no one even likes her. And basically that's it. Sonic 06 is a complete piece of garbage that will never be mentioned again, and I'll never have to go over the game ever again, because I already went over this game for 40 minutes. I don't want to have to ever talk about this piece of garbage of a so-called Sonic game again, because Sonic 06 should be buried in hell at this very least. If I ever see a final copy of Sonic 06, I was put in a fire pit and my burned and set and the future and all this timeline would never happen. And thankfully they corrected the mistakes and got rid of this timeline altogether and basically made this game non-canon to the Sonic timeline. Overall, Sonic 06 is easily the worst Sonic game ever made. Until we go over Sonic Boom Rise of Relic, easily one of the worst Sonic games as well. I just can't believe this is a Sonic game, and this is supposed to be for the Sonic anniversary, so goodbye.